Legend of War here, and today we're doing a saving a disaster situation playing Medieval 2, the Britannia campaign. So it's been a while since we've covered Medieval 2, but it's just largely just due to lack of save files that show up. But every now and again, we get something interesting. So with this campaign here, we're playing as Ireland, and Norway is in full control of this little island here, the Isle of Man. And they have got 4 armies holding this area. And he's landed here, and he wants me to capture it and take all these guys out. Now, this is a pretty good army. We've got our king, King Brian over here, and he does actually have Night Fighter, so we might be able to use this to sort of, I guess, lightning strike, so we don't have to fight them all in one go. That being said, if we attacked either of these 2 armies here, they are too far away to reinforce. Now, if we could draw out the garrison, then we could wipe it out on the field so that a siege isn't required. That would be good. We've also got access to some mercenaries, which we should grab that. If we wanted to leave this area, we wouldn't be able to until they actually attacked us. Because, yeah, our zone of control is blocked. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack their stronger army in the area, commanded by this guy. Now, our king has quite a lot of dread. And if we have a look over here, there's 2 units sitting inside the settlement. So let's attack him, and let's see if whether or not it's good for a night attack. So King Magnus is sitting in there. If we have a look, he's a night fighter as well. So if I look at this guy here. Alright, if I attempt a night attack, we just disable this one here from showing up. Okay, that'll be fine. We're still going to deal with them, but this way we're not completely exhausted with when fighting the second army. We can go in and fight a second battle, and they'll have recovered all their fatigue. Plus we get a tiny little bit of replenishment. So bounce of power there is still just slightly out of our favor, but let's jump in and see what we can do. I don't expect this battle here is going to be a problem, but this here is a marathon, not a sprint. We need to make sure that when we fight here, we don't just win, but we win really well. So whenever you do a night attack, if you just wait, you can get it to be the morning, and that way you've successfully lightning struck them, essentially, while also having better visibility during the day. So just going to make some adjustments here. So what I want to be doing is keeping our infantry in front of them like this. I'm going to have the lighter cavalry go around one flank. These guys here just stay put for now. I'll probably get you to try to harass the king as he's coming in, and these guys will go around the other flank. I need to make sure that our king is basically the first one that charges into the enemy general, because I think I can actually break him. So bounce of power there is just slightly out of our favor, but I think we've got a tactical advantage here that the bounce of power doesn't take into consideration, and that being an exceptionally good general for battle. Dread is, in my opinion, the best stat for battle, because it strips away so much of the enemy morale, and if you manage to kill the enemy general, then all of this infantry here it won't do anything. So yeah, have them stand out in front of them to try to draw them in, but what I'm going to do is, as they're advancing towards us, I'm going to fall back so that we can attack their cavalry first. Also, the more tired we can make them, then that's going to impact their morale as well. Just start coming around over this way. These 2 over here, just go over there. I think the enemy lack missile units, so we can get fairly close to them. But yeah, the guy that we need to go and kill, this guy here. We kill him nice and early, and the rest of them will fall to pieces very, very quickly. But yeah, they're not advancing at the moment. Like I said, first one in, just because you've got all the dread. And also the king tends to have more hit points than everyone else. Okay, not everyone has to charge in on the general, but the more that we shove into the general, the better. Good, we've already got their backline here routing, but they've just started advancing on our infantry, so they need to fall back, because they're not going to hold against this.
The enemy general has no honor. Our men have captured the enemy general. Guard them well.
That is a pretty damn good start. Alright, cut these guys off and make sure they don't get away. while they keep falling back. Hang on, back off. Alright, you need to get over here, because with all of that dread... See, dread works in a proximity. You have to actually be fairly close to the enemy forces in order to apply it. Also, it would actually have been better if we don't rout them one at a time, but all at once. Because basically what we want to do is stack morale penalties. The enemy general's dead, you cause a bunch of dread, and also when their allied units, their friendly units are routing, that also causes a morale penalty. So these ones over here, because they've gotten away from them, they're not going to cause as much of a morale penalty. Now in Rome Total War, if you want to prevent the general from dying on the charge, you would press that, but it doesn't really matter in this. Yeah, so we don't even need to properly charge into them. To get them to rout. Okay, I need... Oh yeah, that's another thing. Sending more troops in the local area will make it more likely that they'll rout. Yeah, make sure none of them get away. Okay, keep falling back. Because yeah, they've recognized that basically they can't win against this, so they're trying to win against our infantry, which they still could win against, sort of, if our cavalry wasn't going to hit them up the arse. Come on, you gotta hurry up. Just send the lighter cavalry to run them down, but we need the general's bodyguards to just trample these guys over here. Come on. They're not very good. Cavalry in this game is not very good at charging into infantry units that are running in the opposite direction. They just don't really get the actual charge animation off. Keep falling. Oh, there's no further back to go. Okay, you'll have to start going around this way here. Taking a bit of damage there with the king. Because yeah, they're fighting Sami Axemen. They're actually very good. Good, we broke them, but we took a lot of casualties. You know, general's bodyguards, they recover. Over the end turn, though. I guess, okay, that's another thing, is that if we want to recover our casualties of the generals, what we do is we send our infantry to go and fight and die. Because of the way that recovery works in this game, the first ones to die are the first ones to recover. You get a base 15% replenishment rate at the end of the battle, if you win. So if we send our infantry to die here, it doesn't matter, we just routed the army. But yeah, there's still another army. So, for example, if I want to revive all of these guys here that died, if I sacrifice these Welsh spearmen up against the other reinforcements, I would pretty much guarantee they all came back. Because, yeah, 30 odd General's Bodyguard, definitely worth more than 150 Welsh spearmen. Oh, that's racist against the Welsh. It's got nothing to do with which faction they technically belong to. It's just the quality of the unit. Like, the Welsh General's Bodyguard is worth more than the Welsh Spearmen. I don't know why I'm making this argument. Alright. Alright, so these ones over here should pretty much rout instantly since they've already had some units run down. So we've lost 4% of our forces so far. Pretty much all concentrated on our king. Infantry didn't take any casualties. Still could throw some away just to... Okay, hang on. We got problems over here. The enemy king is about to come past us. Alright, we want to go back around this way. The first army is gone. We need 85% overall casualties in order to ensure that it's wiped out. I want to get on the high ground and start shooting at it. Horseboys are pretty good at dealing with generals' bodyguards.
The battle is very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory will be ours.
Let's get around them here. We do not want to be shooting at the dismounted Huskarls. They're not going to be a problem. Because if we kill the enemy king, well, that's basically checkmate. get as close as possible, but also want to be shooting so that we're not hitting their shields, so somewhat from their back. But close range, but also on high ground. That'll maximize the amount of damage that is inflicted. Now, terrain bonuses and the directional damage that they're coming in from makes a huge difference in Medieval 2. So, for example, if I was shooting from down here, I'd probably get half the casualties. But yeah, this is pretty typical, where, you know, they're coming in as reinforcements, they're clearly targeting our infantry, I think, and they just ignore the skirmishes because they've detected that they basically can't catch us. Even though, due to the lack of responsiveness of the game, if they turned around quickly enough, they might be able to. Probably not going to kill every last one of the general's bodyguards, but at least we've thinned them out by quite a bit. Trying to wait for our guys to recover their fatigue is pointless. It takes too long in Medieval 2. Because this guy's got battle timers on, yeah, we don't have time to wait around for that. It'll take the rest of the battle timer just to get back to fresh. Okay, just a handful of them left. And that's the last of our ammo. So 6 left. A little bit more than a handful. Alright. So one solid charge in on the enemy king might just kill him because he did take a few javelins to his flank. But if he doesn't immediately die, then maybe we can capture him, because he'll probably be fairly low in morale, especially when we charge in here and...
Charge! Unbelievable.
Got all that dread.
Enemy king flees. The enemy army flees
Got
the
him.
field.
Good stuff.
After them, cut the cowards down. The enemy are utterly vanquished. This is a great victory.
Okay, so we suffered 45 casualties. We recovered... Let's see, 3, 4... Recovered 8. Alright, that's pretty good. And that's why it's kind of good to fight many smaller battles as opposed to one big battle against all of them. Especially considering the fatigue issue and also the fact that we've got battle timers on. If I had to guess, I didn't check this before... I can't check it now. It's very rare for the AI to actually have like 30 grand sitting in reserve, unless it's a big faction. So Norway tends to have a lot of forces, but not a whole lot of money. So I doubt that they'll accept that ransom, but let's see. Yeah, they can't afford the ransom. I'm not surprised at all. In that situation there, because our king already had a lot of dread, it actually would have been better for me to have executed them, because... in for a penny, in for a pound. Basically, what you want to do is you don't want to be a middle-of-the-road general. You either want to be full chivalry or full dread. You know, don't pussyfoot around. Make a decision on what you want to do with it. You know, chivalry generals are great for growing cities. Dread generals great for making armies, enemy armies, completely useless. So yeah, we got 6 dread on him. That's good. All right, then we could capture the settlement Castletown here, but I reckon if we attack this army here first, it will stand and fight. Now, if any of their units run away, they'll end up in Castletown, and I have to draw them out again. Now, because there are no further generals, that would mean that we would have to make sure that when we draw them out, we can't be using a night attack. Doesn't matter whether we use a night attack here or not. Hang on a sec. Why is this guy in command this time? That's weird. But yeah, the more often you use night attack, you can actually increase the trait's potential, so you actually get more command when you do go on it. So we're outnumbered 2 to 1. Just hang on a sec here. Let's see. It's mostly infantry, but there are a little bit of cav. Alright, let's do this and jump in. And And then this will just help us with some visibility. Cool. Alright, cool. Alright, I reckon we just do basically the same thing as what we did previously, because it worked really bloody well. Have these guys be out front, and have the cavalry go around them. And we need to go for the Huskarl that's in command. Okay, he's over that side. Can rearrange quickly enough. And that is that dude there. So I'll be charging downhill against him. Now this guy is not going to have as much hit points as a king, so there's a possibility that when we charge into him, we might kill him straight away on the charge. And then these guys, you want to time it so that you just kill the enemy general, and then you charge straight into their flank, and it just hopefully roll them right up. It would have been good if we had some longer range missile units so that we could have harassed them, because they seriously lack missile units of their own. That way we could really entice them to charge at us a bit earlier. It is what it is. But no, it's still the king that's in command. Let's make sure we get around the back here. Get these ones in a little bit closer. Make sure we keep an eye on him so they don't switch him around or anything. But yeah, they usually do keep the general at the back. I'm not too fussed about using the horse boys here to thin out the enemy forces, but I will take them off skirmish mode. I actually wouldn't mind using them in melee. It might seem a little bit silly to send a missile unit into melee like this. The thing is, when you use overwhelming numbers in a local area, like if you send all of your troops to just hit them right in the corner there, you're going to cause more of a morale problem for the enemy forces, making it more likely that they'll break. So it doesn't matter about your combat stats when the enemy are broken. That's it. Now fall back while they're running towards us so they don't assist their general. Getting a bit of a rout going on over here.
Very much in our favor. If we remain true and steadfast, victory. The enemy general has no honor. He flees the field of battle and abandons. Our men have captured the enemy general.
GG to them.
Well,
we got him.
So we can watch us defeat the rest of his army.
But remember your ABC's children, you always need to be charging. This is Huskarls charging it. Oh, they're broken. That's okay. Dismounted Huskarls, they would be doing a fair bit of damage. If they would just break, that would be great. I gotta get the king over here. Need that dread. Send larger cavalry to run down the bulk of their forces. Okay, we should be able to charge into that and it'll be fine. Alright, so that is 7% casualty. So we actually took more casualties in this battle than we did in the previous one, despite them having generals and maybe even a larger army in the previous one. But I think they just had better units in this one here. Apart from those semi-axemen. Gonna hurt. There's no point bracing. It's just not going to get done in time. And if you can't brace in time, then countercharge. At least it broke him. That actually didn't do very much damage to us. Okay. A few casualties on these guys, but that's okay. So why haven't we? I was gonna say, wasn't out in battle. Alright, I actually took 10% casualties. So if we had 1,300 men, that means we lost about 130 of them, which means we should be recovering about 15 troops. Roughly. Okay, we killed 94% of them, so they're definitely wiped out.
The enemy are utterly vanquished. This is a great victory, worthy of... Aye, victory!
Alright, cool.
Aye, my liege.
Now it says here, in terms of our movement, we've got enough movement to hit them, but there's no reason why we can't hit Castletown first. So let's do that.
By your will, sire, we shall engage.
Sacking it should be fine.
Victory!
Okay, now I'm just going to quick save because, while it probably won't happen, Medieval 2 does have a tendency of crashing every now and again, especially the Britannia campaign. I'm not entirely sure what it is. So just, if it does crash, it's no big deal. Just load up save file. Okay, so these last two here, we're not in particularly bad shape, but I tell you what, let's challenge ourselves a little bit and fight these two armies and not night battle them.
They'll be begging for their lives soon.
Because now these two have nowhere to go. When they lose this battle here, it's over for them. Because there's nowhere to retreat. I think it would be better to fight this one first. Just because there's a lot of... Hang on, let me look at this. Sammy Axeman. No. No, this would be a bit more difficult to deal with. Have them come in as reinforcements. We'll crush this one first. But yeah, we won't use night attack here. We'll fight them all at once. So we're outnumbered 2 to 5.
Let none leave alive, lads. Slot!
Not outnumbered, outpowered. But, you know, cavalry is king.
Our foes appear to be gaining the upper hand in this battle.
Okay. And also, the terrain is really unfavorable, so that's great. Yeah, that is really bad, actually. Kind of wishing I had not done the night battle now, but I kind of figured it would just be another field battle. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be a bit more of a challenge, because we've got to get up and around them when there's a lot of obstructions in the way, and they're going to block us off. The enemy reinforcements will be coming in directly from the north, so what if we just go after them first? Just forget about... because they're definitely going to take the high ground. Let's just forget about the main army and go after their reinforcements. Oh, no, I attacked from... Okay. Sorry, I got it around the wrong way. Need to move over here. Actually, they're going to take a little while to get here. Let me just see if there's a path up through here, and then it's a dead end. Hang on. Look, yeah, that's a dead end. Another thing is that if we charge up the hill here, we're going to be totally exhausted right at the beginning of the battle. People often will say, how come he's always running everywhere? You gotta keep in mind, they get exhausted anyway, and you gotta get that momentum. Gotta get moving. Alright, maybe it might be easier for me to climb up this way here, just because there's a less concentration of force. But it depends on the quality of their units, not the quantity. There's some Sammy Axemen there, so no, I'm not going up that way. If we... because they're going to take a little while to arrive by the look of it. Right. We have to do them all individually. But we just want to punch through this. So we're going to be pretty tired when we arrive here, but it is what it is. It'll be fine. I hope. Okay, and these ones here, I need them to protect our rear so that when these guys here arrive, we're not stuck being pincered. Because, yeah, being exhausted through here isn't going to be great. But at least... yeah, they do not have much of a concentration, and because we got Dread and they've only got a captain, we should be able to punch through this. And, okay, there we go, we broke them quite easily. Which direction are they going? Just go further around that way. Gotta move fast. Okay, is that our king there? Nope, that is this dude here. But we broke him, that's good. Now we're going to get around them here and charge down the hill against them. Having our infantry nearby could actually get them to go further down that way so we can pincer them maybe. Now, in this battle here, it doesn't matter if we wipe them out or not. In fact, if we can manage to get the win before they even... that's not going to happen. But yeah, if we did win before they even arrived, they've got nowhere to go. They would get completely wiped out. Okay, fall back a little bit.
Our men have fought long.
Yeah, we knew we were going to be tired. It's okay, it's not the end of the world, especially for cavalry. Just because, like, it will definitely slow them down being exhausted, but it doesn't impact on their ability to crush their morale really quickly, which is our main advantage. Look, don't worry about them. Don't worry about them. They're not important. Alright, they've got a few units down here already trying to come at us. Just move a bit further back. Need more of my guys up on the hill here. They're going to be fresh, but when we charge down on the hill here, that's going to give us so much momentum. We should absolutely crush them, even if we don't rout them straight away. Yeah, don't worry about them. They're not important. We haven't killed the enemy general yet. It'd be this guy here, somewhere back. There he is. Okay. Right, try not to engage with them until we have killed the enemy general, if possible. So just keep falling back. Okay, I'm going to keep these two back, because I might need them against the next army. But I wanted him up front so that he can cause morale penalties. But yeah, probably totally exhausted, so yeah, this charge is going to seem a bit flaccid. But at least we gained the high ground. I don't want them being used right now. Save them for the second army. Right, if we could manage to kill the enemy general, that's going to make it super easy to get rid of the rest of them. Especially those semi-axemen. No run. Hopefully we actually catch him though. Thing is, he's going to be fresh and we're exhausted, so it all just depends on whether or not he was fighting at the front there, which I kind of doubt that he was. If they haven't captured him yet. I don't think we're going to capture him. We're just too tired. Just back off from him. He will probably rally. It'll give us another chance to get him again later. Let's take out this bigger clump here right at the rear. And these ones just keep falling back. Oh, crap. Red line already. Oh, jeez. I wasn't expecting that. They routed into us. That's him right there. That's him. That's him. Okay, luckily we've got these guys here. It's up to them now. Good thing I left them back here, because they're probably not going to rally now. Okay, we got them all routing. Thing is, if we defeat this army before we've captured him, it doesn't really matter if we capture him.
Mighty
Got him.
Lord above, we have captured the enemy general flees like the coward he is.
So we captured him and then he fled apparently. But we got him. So these guys over here, they're going to be in pretty low morale. We just got to get the cavalry down over here as quickly as we can. Alright, their other reinforcements are arriving, so we need these ones over here to shoot down at them. While we finish this army off here. So that bounce power's not looking to crash hard at the moment. And this is why I wanted to save our infantry for later. So I really should have night battled this battle. Where are you? Yeah. You need to hurry up, move a bit quicker. Alright, well, our infantry have all routed. I mean, they got totally overwhelmed there. But they did what they needed to do. They took the enemy forces off the high ground. Don't forget they've got catapults over here. And if they rout early and get captured, well, that just means that when we win the battle, if we win the battle, they're not going to suffer as many overall casualties. So we get all of them back. Are you there? Come on, I need you closer so you can be getting all that dread up in there. Hard to maneuver out, guys, in this terrain here. There is absolutely no hope of trying to get these guys to rest to recover their fatigue. It absolutely will not work. So far we've suffered 28% casualties, but that's like 95% our infantry that suffered that. Although this guy over here, a bit overwhelmed. I need to send more troops over here. They're not going to rout them. Because there's some good units. And we're taking casualties. But with more enemy units routing, the more likely it'll cause a chain reaction. That's good. Sammy Axeman there as well. I need you over here. Cause your dread. So far, this guy here is still... Actually, he's perfectly safe. It's his bodyguards that are fighting. I'm just not sure.
Only half the enemy force remains.
So this is the one that had the catapults. And they're not trying to gain the high ground. This Sammy Axeman here. Fuse to break. There we go. Got him. So we've basically wiped out this first army, and the bounce power is still pretty bad.
The enemy army flees the field.
Alright, first army's been destroyed.
Cut the cowards down.
That's not the enemy general of this army. Because we've captured the general of the first army, the captain, doesn't affect these guys here as well. They've got their own separate captain. So if we could draw him away from the rest of their infantry, that would be good. But we need to get reorganized because we're in a complete mess here. And while that's going on, we need to have these ones harass them from the rear. So we killed 42 of them. So that's 84% if they're exactly the same size in numbers. That being said, it doesn't matter about killing 85% of them because they've got nowhere to go. These guys here shouldn't be fresh either because they've been moving around a fair bit. But I don't think that just charging in here is a good idea. Alright, just back off and get reorganized. Where are you two? Okay, they were just ahead of them. Alright, charging into these crossbowmen at the back here. Should be fine for them. Because we don't want them firing back at us. They'll kill us really quickly. And that's caused their cavalry to charge up ahead. Good. Because if we get them ahead of... away from the rest of their forces, we'll easily beat them. But if they combine their forces all at once, that'll be too much for our cavalry to deal with. Because we're totally exhausted. That being said as well, we're too tired to get away from them. AI does love to go into wedge formation, which actually makes it easier to get away from them. Just get back. Right. Get in there. I need to get rid of these Huskarls. And have some of our guys come around the rear here so we can flank them. Oh, you know what? The artillery never showed up. They got stuck. So we made the right call in this attacking this army. Yeah, see how we're not instantly routing them? That's why we want to get them separated. Feign the charge there. Try to charge them in the rear. Since we've got a concentrated force here, I really need these horse boys to charge into this rear, because there's some wavering units. I don't think that's the enemy general. If we can get these broken units into them as well, that'll also cause them to be scared. Keep charging in here. I know these guys don't have a huge charge bonus, but they're pinned down, and we're too tired to really pull out and keep charging. This is why it was so important to night battle in those other fights, because you end up fighting the second army, and you're totally drained. You can't utilize your speed. But it's working. We're causing a bunch of routes. See, I'm trying to pull this one out. They just won't do it. This is what happens when they're just totally exhausted. That was a nice big route. Oh, that one's broken.
Pray something changes in the course of battle.
It is changing.
Seems
Fucking
almost
advisors. We haven't lost any generals yet. But we are suffering casualties.
In our favor. From such tidings does victory emerge.
And we never killed the captain of this army here either.
The enemy general, the battle is very much in our favor.
We routed him,
if we remain
but we didn't capture him.
Steadfast, victory will be ours.
That looked like it was a decent charge in on them, but you know they're exhausted, but it's still enough. Okay, cool, we got them. Alright, we shouldn't need to run these guys down in order to wipe them out, but just in case, let's run them down anyway. And that'd be the Isle of Man fully under our command. Yeah, if we have a look over here, not sure if you can see them, but yeah, there's a bunch of catapults over there. They got stuck. They never came into the battlefield. So if I had attacked them as the first army, we might have got a better map, but it's always possible that the first shot of the catapult ends up killing your king. I'm sure many of you guys who have played this game enough have experienced that pain. You know, charging headfirst and then just get hit with an artillery shot, and then that's it, he's just dead. Alright, that'll do.
The enemy are utterly vanquished.
Yeah, I don't think either army got completely wiped out.
Mightiest of generals.
It says we've lost 48% of our forces. Yeah, we actually did take that many casualties. But we get back anyone that was captured. They might have enough money for this. Let's see.
Yes.
Nope, they don't even have enough money for it. Okay. I gave him a shot, and that's what happens if you don't have any cash. You can't pay, you die. That's how it is. Alright, so... yeah, a few units got wiped out, but the Norwegians just got totally fucked there. If we have a look, this isn't going to show it until the next turn, but just what we'll do here is we'll make that save, so we'll send that save file back to him. Hit the end turn. There are probably a bunch of other things going on, but what I want to do here is basically just have a look at how much we screwed over Norway. So in their overall ranking at 120,000, just a little bit lower than that. So let's see what it looks like next turn. Because yeah, it doesn't update until the beginning of the next turn. Okay, this is now.
Pull back and disengage. The enemy's not stopping. Dropping anchor until the morrow, sire.
Because that must have been a good portion of their military that just completely got wiped out there. Alright, let's have a look. Yeah, there's a pretty significant drop. Yeah, from here. That was 1/3 of their, or almost 1/3 of their entire faction rating. Oh my god. Yeah. This is what happens when you encounter Legend of Total War on the battlefield in Medieval 2. If you're the AI. Just, yeah, they lost half of their army there. Unless, of course, you had already taken out a bunch of armies before sending the save file on that exact same turn. But yeah, cool. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more Medieval 2, send in more Medieval 2 save files. I'm more than happy to cover Medieval 2. But yeah, I get like 1/100th the save files for Medieval 2 as I do for Warhammer 3. Anyway, appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.